Hey everyone, welcome back to the JavaScript course. So inside this video, we'll be looking into the JavaScript while loop. And if you find this interesting, let's get started right away. So in this video, we'll be exploring about the for in loop as well as the while loop and the do while loop. So inside my VS Code, I've opened up my index.html file, my style.css file as well as my script file. So there is some basic boilerplate code present inside my index file and some basic styling given to the style.css file and a basic console.log text inside my script file. Okay. So now let's start exploring about the for in loop. Okay. So first is the syntax. So for in loop. So let's say for any key inside an object, we are going to execute that particular code for it, right? So first let's take an example of an object and then let's see how we can access the particular values we have. So let's say const person equals to object. It's going to have a first name. Okay, and it's going to have a second name or the last name. And it's also going to have an age factor. Okay, so yeah, so with the help of the for in loop, we're going to access the values present inside of the person object. So we are going to make use of the syntax that we have from line 6 to 8. So we're going to say for let's say key. So for let's say let I equals to, for let I in, or we can use for let value in person, or just value in person. We are going to say let value equals to, or let result equals to person of value. Okay, and we're just gonna console.log the given result, right? So essentially person of value in the sense it's going to access the first one, and then after that it's going to access the second one, and after that it's going to access the third one, right? So save the file once. Let's come back to the console. Okay, object is not defined. Yeah, that's because of this one. Let's comment that out. Yeah, so there you go. We are getting all the required values, that is Hirsch, K, and then 20. Okay, so that was it about the object looping. So now let's move on to the foreign array values. Okay, so this is gonna be for in array looping. Okay, so let's consider a basic fruits array. Let's put in some random values. Okay, so there are some basic values inside the fruits array. Now with the help of the for loop, we are going to access all the contents inside the array. Okay, so let's say for fruit in fruits, we're going to say let result equals to fruits of fruit. Okay, let's keep it as value itself. Okay, and then let us console.log the required result. So this should essentially point to each index from the start to end and then print all the values inside the array. So save the file and let's come back to the web page. Yeah, so there you go. We are able to print all the required items inside the array, right? So that was it about the for in loop. So now let's move on to the next thing, that is the while loop. So the while loop is used to execute some piece of code until and unless the condition becomes false. So if the condition is true, so the while loop starts executing line by line. Okay, so let's understand this with the help of an example. So we have the while, and then we have the condition, and then this is pretty much the code we have, right? So this is with the basic syntax for the while loop. So we just write the while keyword and then we apply the condition to it. So if the condition becomes true, this is gonna get executed. So in case the condition becomes false anytime, so then the while loop gets terminated and the code comes out of the braces, right? So let's print something inside the while loop. So let's say for while, let's say let I equals to 0, you're gonna say while I is less than 10, console.log the I value for now. Okay, yeah, so the first time this loop runs, that is with the I value as 0, so 0 is less than 10, so it's gonna get it's gonna print 0, right? It's gonna print 0, and then let's see what exactly happens. So let's check out the console. Okay, condition is not defined. I think that, yeah, that's because of this one. Let's remove that out. Let's refresh. Okay, I'm not able to refresh for some reason. Save the file, or let's cut the server and then start it over again. Okay, even that is not opening. Let's give it some time. Yeah, I think that is it's gone into an infinite loop, right? So let us increase the value, that is I plus plus, and until 10 it's gonna just keep running, right? Save the file. Yeah, so there you go. Now it's working absolutely fine. That is from 0 to 9. So previously we were not increasing the I plus plus, so that's the reason it was just erroring out. So after every printing of I value, we are just gonna increase the I value until it reaches the condition break, right? After that it's gonna break out. So that means it's gonna go till 9, and after that it's gonna break because I becomes 10 and 10 is less than 10. That's gonna break out. Okay. So that's it about the while loop basics. So now let's move on to the do while loop. Okay, so over here first let's look into the syntax. So that's going to be do, and then after over here we are going to write the while, and we're going to apply the condition. So the do while loop is similar to the while loop. Okay, so the do while loop executes the code even without checking the condition for the first time, and then later on it checks the condition. If it is true, it continues the code, else it is just gonna break out of the do while loop. So executes the code the first time even without checking the condition. Okay, so now let's take this with the help of an example. So let's say do. Okay, we are gonna say we're just gonna print the value, that is console.log of I, and then we're gonna increment the value as well. So this is pretty much the code to be executed, whereas over here we're gonna write the same condition that we have given to the while. Okay, so we are gonna say while I is less than 10, and we're gonna put a semicolon. Let's keep a different variable, let's say j, and same thing goes over here. Okay, so let's say let j equals to 0, and let us comment the do while syntax. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's check out the console. It should print from again 0 to 9 in the console. Yeah, so there it's printing 10 times 10. Okay, let's see why that is happening. Okay, because we are printing console.log of I, so that should be j instead of I, because you changed the name of the variable. So now it should print from 0 to 9, right? Yeah, so there you go, we are printing from 0 to 9. Yeah, so that's the basic working of the do while loop, right? So we explored about the for in loop, that is how to loop over an object and print all the key values of it. And then we also explore about how to consider an array and then print all the values of an array inside it. And then we just explore about the while loop, taking this basic example. And at the last, that is about the do while loop, we took the same example and explored about it. Okay, I think that's it about the video. Let's see in the next video, and then thank you for watching.